KhoslaRaghu on songs that become memories. Tera Yaar was written through tears exclusive. Some artists build melodies. Others build memories. For KhoslaRaghu, every song is both a snapshot and a slow burn, a moment frozen in feeling, crafted with quiet care. Their latest track Tera Yaar wasn't born out of a writing session or a label brief. It was born at home, during one of life's most emotionally complex milestones, a sibling's wedding. Written as a farewell and performed live for their sister as she stepped into a new chapter, the song became more than just music. It became a shared memory, soaked in real emotion and teary-eyed gratitude. It resonated in the way only truth can. And that's what defines KhoslaRaghu. Whether it's the classical undertones of Bars Mornana, the stripped-down ache of Unkbina, or the cinematic swell of Dorian, their sound is rooted in feeling, not formula. Their songs don't just live in your ears, they linger in your gut. As artists, they've never shied away from emotional transparency. Their distinct backgrounds, one grounded in Indian classical training, the other shaped by Western pop, fuse into something beautifully balanced, music that honors tradition but feels entirely of the moment. In this exclusive conversation with NEWS18 Shosha, they reflect on the moment Tera Yaar was written, how real-life goodbyes shaped their songwriter, and why they see themselves not just as composers or performers, but as memory makers scoring life's most tender, transformative moments. From wedding songs to heartbreak ballads, what drives them is simple if it's honest. It stays. Nana post shared by KhoslaRaghu indie duo KhoslaRaghu Music Nan. Here are the excerpts. Tera Yaar wasn't just written, it was lived. How did writing a song for such a personal moment shift your approach to music? Even technically or emotionally, it definitely changes your approach to writing and producing the song, because you want to make sure you're doing justice to the emotion. Because it's not just about you anymore. It's about the person you're writing for, so you're way more involved and conscious and responsible, and you really want the track to come out beautifully. Was there a specific moment at the wedding, maybe during the performance, that made you realize how deeply this song resonated with Leso? The moment we performed the song at the wedding, we knew it had touched everyone because everyone had tears in their eyes. It was a very overwhelming moment for everyone. And a lot of people came up to us and asked us about the song and when it was releasing, so we felt that we had done justice to the moment. Who was the first person you played the song for and what was their reaction? So the first person to whom we played the song was my mom, and obviously it was a very emotional moment for her because her elder daughter was getting married, so her reaction was that she started crying immediately, and yeah, that was very special. Tera Yaar blends traditional Indian sounds with modern pop. What challenges did you face in finding that sonic balance, especially for such an emotionally loaded track? It's always a challenge to find that perfect blend of sound that doesn't take away from the emotion of the song. We knew we had to use certain Indian elements to make it relatable, and at the same time keep it contemporary to our style. So, we had to strike that balance with a lot of trial and error until it felt just right. There's an inherent intimacy in writing from personal experience. How do you decide what parts of your lives to share with the world through music, and what to hold back? Honestly, we don't decide that beforehand. We start writing what we're feeling, and the song sort of tells us how much to share. Sometimes the rawest parts come out, and you just go with it because you know that's what will make it resonate with someone else. How do you translate something as culturally specific as an Indian bride's farewell into a feeling that's universally understood? It all boils down to emotions. A farewell, a goodbye, longing, these are universal. We just tried to be honest with that moment. Whether you understand the language or not, the emotion speaks. Writing about a sibling's wedding can be deeply personal. How did it affect your own view on love, relationships, or even leaving home? Writing this made us realize how powerful bonds are. It also brought in a lot of introspection about how relationships shape who we are, and how letting go isn't always a sad thing, it can be beautiful too. Has this experience changed how you see your role, not just as musicians but as memory makers for others during big life moments? Absolutely. When we saw people resonating with the song during the wedding, it made us realize we're not just making songs, we're giving people something they can tie to moments they'll never forget. That's a big responsibility and an honor. Do you think music like Tera Yaar can open space for more nuanced emotions in Indian weddings beyond just celebration? Definitely. Indian weddings are such an emotional roller coaster, but we often focus only on the happy parts. Songs like Tera Yaar can give voice to the softer, quieter emotions that are equally present but not always expressed. Did you ever feel pressure to make the song more commercial or trend-friendly, or was this purely heart-first writing? No, to be honest, we never really think about making a trendy song or commercial song. For us, what's most important is to stay honest to our craft, and to do what feels right, and to do what is right for the song, and stay true to the inspiration, rather than taking the pressure of creating something commercial or trendy. Because no one can really put a tag on what is commercial and what is non-commercial, so all you can do as an artist is to stay honest and put your heart into the song and give your best. How do your contrasting musical backgrounds, Western and Indian classical, push or challenge each other when producing something so rooted in Indian emotion? So both of us are actually very grateful that we have different taste in music, because it helps us filter out, it gives us a different perspective and a different point of view to choose what is good for the track rather than being biased or putting a tag of Western or Indian. Because at the end of the day, it's all about making good music. And if it feels right, it doesn't really matter if it's come from Indian approach or Western approach. Now that Tera Yaar is out in the world, what does success look like for this song? Is it streams, or the quiet moment it gives someone listening alone. We were really happy that our sister liked the track because that was the original inspiration, and apart from that everyone else who's had a chance to listen to the song has really appreciated it, so that is what means the most to us, and we feel that streams are secondary and it's all about connecting with people, so we feel that Tera Yaar has been doing a good job with that. Are you interested in creating an entire concept album around life milestones like marriage, goodbyes, first love, etc.? Yes, definitely. We are very keen on making a concept album and we have been wanting to make one for a very long time, but we feel now is the right time. So, that is something which is definitely in the pipeline. Each of your songs seems to live in a specific emotional space. Dorian carries distance, while Tera Yaar carries longing. When you sit down to write, do you chase a feeling first or a story? So it's always the feeling that we chase, but the feeling comes from the story or the inspiration which evokes a certain emotion, and that is what we aim for. Which song in your discography was the hardest to write emotionally, and which one felt like it wrote itself? Tera Yaar was definitely a hard one to write because the inspiration was so personal, and you obviously have that pressure when you want to make something for your loved ones. You want to make sure that it turns out beautifully. And then there are songs which come out really fast. Unkbina is one of them that we remember. It just wrote itself honestly. Your earlier tracks like Unkbina and Mirsath too lean into intimacy. How have your emotional instincts as writers changed from those first releases to now? We feel it's all about staying in the moment. At that point of time, we were creating what felt right back then. Right now, we're trying to create what we feel is needed of us right now. And we're really excited to see what the future holds for us in that aspect. Do you approach songs like Barsmore Naina and Nazari which feel tonally very different with different processes, or is there a common thread to how a KhoslaRaghu track is born? No. Definitely every song has a different process and every song needs to be approached differently. Otherwise, they'll end up sounding the same. So, there's a lot of discussion that goes behind the approach of, maybe about the delivery would be of the song or writing process or how we want to take it ahead. With Aao Bulladine, you explored the act of letting go. Was it more cathartic or creatively draining to live in that space while writing an entire EP? That's actually a very good question. Maybe, yes. Because when you start writing something, you really want to be honest with your emotions, and then you just go in that headspace where you want to really connect with your emotions to be able to write what you actually feel. So, at some point of time, you do feel a bit taxing and drained out emotionally. But we feel that is important for the track, and if it gets the best out of us, then why not? What's a sonic choice you made on one of your songs, like a particular instrument or structure that you think most people missed but means a lot to you? Here are a lot of nuances in every art piece that go unnoticed by the generic audience, but as artists it's important for you to give your best, and that's the beauty of it. So we can't really put a finger on this to one, but there are definitely many things that go unnoticed but are also very important for the people who see it clearly and to oneself as artist. Listening to your discography from Bikabar to Tera Yaar, there's a clear evolution in sound. What do you hear when you go back to your earliest tracks? It's actually a bit weird to go back in time with your own work. Sometimes you relate to it and sometimes you don't. But that's the beauty of it. As we said, it's all about staying in the moment. So, at that point of time, we were really doing what we felt was needed then. And it just goes so forth. You've maintained your signature blend of classical Indian and pop, but how do you make sure you're not repeating yourself sonically? We really put a lot of effort into not sounding mundane, and we try to get out of our comfort zone as much as we can, because we feel you can only evolve as an artist by experimenting and also by adhering to different inspirations and staying honest to them, and of course by getting inspired by other people's work. Is there any genre you haven't tried but really want to? Definitely, there's so much that we do not know about and it's scary, but we will definitely take a dive in those genres and try to create something. Because that's the fun part. To name a few, maybe jazz, blues, more of Indian classical, because it's really an ocean so you can just keep digging in. Nan, has there been any fan cover that made you feel like, wow, I wish I sang it like that? Definitely, sometimes we get to hear beautiful covers of our songs and you just realize that they have sung it so beautifully and you wish that you could do it that way. If you had to recreate one of your own songs, which one would it be? We're not really big fans of recreating because we feel that there's so much new to explore that what is done for. But if you were to recreate, we could actually recreate every song, because there's 100 ways you can approach a song and it's going to sound different every time. What's something you're learning right now as artists that you wish you knew during Barsmore Naina days? Honestly, it's an ever-evolving journey. So every day you grow as an artist and you feel that, oh, I wish I knew this earlier. Latest blogs.